There was a small village far away from the big city. The village was very poor. The houses were made of mud and old wood. When rain fell, water entered many homes. When the sun was hot, the ground became dry and hard. In this village lived a girl called Chiamaka. Chiamaka was not like other girls. She was very thin. Her clothes were always old. Her face was not beautiful to the people of the village. Many people said she was ugly. Some laughed at her, some pointed at her, some just ignored her. When other girls walked past, people greeted them. When Chiamaka walked past, people kept quiet. When young men gathered to talk, they talked about pretty girls. They never talked about Chiamaka. If she greeted them, they answered quickly and looked away. No man ever said, "Chiamaka, I like you." No man ever said, "Chiamaka, will you be my wife?" This made Chiamaka very sad. Every morning, Chiamaka woke up early. She fetched water from the stream. She washed clothes for people. She helped old women in the village. She worked very hard, but people did not see her heart. They only saw her face. Sometimes, Chiamaka stood by the roadside and watched other girls. She watched them laugh. She watched them talk with men. She watched men bring gifts to their homes. When weddings happened, Chiamaka sat alone. She clapped for others, but inside her heart she felt pain. At night, Chiamaka lay on her mat and cried quietly. She did not want people to hear her. She would ask herself, "Why am I like this? Why does nobody love me? Will anyone ever marry me?" Chiamaka lived with only her mother. Her mother was very weak. She was sick for a long time. They had no money for good medicine. Still, her mother loved Chiamaka very much. Her mother always smiled at her. She always called her "my child." Even when others called Chiamaka ugly, her mother never did. One evening, Chiamaka sat beside her mother. The sun was going down. The air was quiet. Her mother looked at her with tired eyes. She held Chiamaka's hand tightly. Chiamaka did not know it then, but something very important was coming. Something that would change her life forever. That night, as the wind blew softly through the village, Chiamaka stayed close to her mother, not knowing that this was the beginning of her story. That night, Chiamaka did not sleep. She sat beside her mother on the floor. She listened to her mother breathe slowly. Her mother's body was hot. Her face was tired. Her eyes opened and closed again and again. Chiamaka used a small cloth to wipe her mother's face. She fanned her gently. "Sleep, Mama," Chiamaka said softly. "I am here." Her mother smiled weakly. "My child," she whispered. Outside, the village was quiet. Only the sound of insects could be heard. As the night grew deeper, her mother's breathing became slower. Very slow, Chiamaka became afraid. "Mama, please don't go," she cried. "I am still here." Her mother opened her eyes and looked at her. She tried to speak, but her voice was weak. Chiamaka held her mother's hand tightly. Her tears fell on the floor. The lamp in the room was dim. Shadows danced on the wall. Then suddenly, her mother stopped breathing. Chiamaka waited. She called her again. "Mama! Mama!" There was no answer. Chiamaka shook her gently. Still no answer. That was when Chiamaka knew. Her mother was gone. Chiamaka screamed. She cried loudly. She cried until her chest hurt. She cried until her eyes were red. Neighbors rushed into the house. Some women shouted. Some covered their mouths. "It is over," one woman said sadly. They covered her mother with cloth. They took her away. Chiamaka followed slowly. The next day, the village buried her mother. There was no big coffin. There was no fine cloth, just a simple burial. After everything, the people went back to their homes. Chiamaka returned to the small house alone. The house felt empty, very empty. There was no voice, no smile, no one to call her name. That night, Chiamaka sat on the floor by herself. She hugged her knees. She cried quietly. She remembered her mother's eyes. She remembered her mother's touch. She did not know how to live alone. She did not know what would happen to her. But deep inside her heart, she remembered something. Her mother had wanted to say something important, very important. Chiamaka did not know what it was yet. She lay down slowly, tears still on her face. As the night passed, Chiamaka slept in the silence, not knowing that her mother's words would soon return to her. Many days passed after her mother's burial. Chiamaka stayed quiet. She spoke to no one. She worked and came back home. At night, she thought about her mother. One night, Chiamaka could not sleep. She sat up and looked around the small room. Everything reminded her of her mother. Suddenly, she remembered that night again, the night her mother was sick. She remembered her mother holding her hand. She remembered her mother trying to speak. Chiamaka's heart began to beat fast. "My mother wanted to tell me something," she said to herself. She closed her eyes. Then slowly, her mother's voice came back to her mind. "My child, come closer." Chiamaka remembered sitting beside her. She remembered leaning close. Her mother had held her hand tightly. Her voice was low but clear. "My child," her mother said, "listen to me." Chiamaka remembered nodding. Her mother said, "People will hurt you. They will laugh at you. They will not choose you." Chiamaka's heart felt heavy as she remembered. Then her mother continued, "Do not cry for them. Do not beg any man to love you." Chiamaka remembered feeling confused. Her mother squeezed her hand and said slowly, "True love does not look at the face. True love looks at the heart." Chiamaka's eyes opened wide in her memory. Her mother said, "A man who loves only beauty will leave when beauty fades. But a man who loves your heart will stay forever." Her mother paused and took a deep breath. Then she said the words Chiamaka would never forget. "You are not ugly. You are precious." Chiamaka felt tears in her eyes as she remembered. Her mother continued, "One day someone will see you. Not your body, not your face, but your heart." Chiamaka sat still in the room. Her mother's voice faded in her mind. Chiamaka wiped her tears. "I don't understand," she whispered. "How can someone love me?" But she held the words close. She did not fully understand the secret, but she believed her mother. That night, Chiamaka lay down slowly. She placed her hand on her chest. She said softly, "I will wait." And in the quiet darkness, her mother's secret rested in her heart, waiting for the right time. Years passed. Chiamaka grew older. She was no longer a small girl. She became a woman. But nothing changed. She was still thin. Her clothes were still old. People still looked at her and shook their heads. In the village, many girls got married. Every year there were weddings. Drums played. People danced. Women wore fine clothes. Chiamaka always stood at the back. She clapped. She smiled. But her smile was not real. Inside her heart, she felt pain. Women whispered when she passed, "Is she not too old? Who will marry her? She is not fine." Some laughed quietly. When men came to ask for wives, they never came to Chiamaka's house. They went to other homes. Chiamaka watched from far away. At night, she cried alone. Sometimes she remembered her mother's words, "True love looks at the heart." She tried to believe it. But some days were very hard. One day, a woman said to her, "Chiamaka, stop waiting. No man will come." Those words hurt her deeply. Another day, a man mocked her. He said, "Look at her body. Who will marry bones?" People laughed. Chiamaka walked away with her head down. She wanted to disappear. She asked herself again and again, "Why was I born like this?" Still, she did not become wicked. She helped others. She shared what little she had. She spoke kindly, but her kindness did not bring love. Every night, she lay on her mat and looked at the roof. She talked to her mother in her heart. "Mama, I am tired," she whispered. "I am waiting, but nothing is coming." She almost gave up, but something small stayed alive inside her. Hope. Very small, very weak. Then one morning, something happened. Something different. Something that would change the path of her life. Chiamaka did not know it yet, but her waiting was about to be tested. One morning, Chiamaka woke up very early. The sun had not risen yet. The village was still quiet. She sat outside her house and looked at the sky. Her heart felt heavy. "I cannot stay like this forever," she said softly. That same day, something new happened. A woman from another village came to visit. Her name was Auntie Ngozi. Auntie Ngozi was strong and kind. She sold food in the city. She saw Chiamaka washing clothes near the stream. She watched her work quietly. After some time, Auntie Ngozi spoke. "You work very hard," she said. Chiamaka was surprised. No one had said that to her before. "Thank you, Ma," Chiamaka replied. Auntie Ngozi smiled. "Come with me to the city," she said. "I need help in my food shop." Chiamaka's heart beat fast. She was afraid. She had never left her village before. "What if I fail?" she asked. Auntie Ngozi held her hand. "You will learn," she said. That night, Chiamaka packed her few clothes. She stood inside her house and looked around. She whispered, "Mama, guide me." The next morning, Chiamaka left the village. The road was long, the city was loud, everything was new. At first, Chiamaka made mistakes. She spilled food, she forgot things. But she did not give up. She woke up early, she worked late. People began to notice her kindness. They noticed her patience. Chiamaka started to stand straighter. She spoke with more confidence. She was still not beautiful to the eyes, but her heart was growing strong. One evening, after work, Chiamaka sat quietly. She remembered her mother's words again. "True love looks at the heart." For the first time, Chiamaka smiled. Not a sad smile, a real one. And somewhere, without her knowing, a new chapter was about to begin. One busy afternoon, the food shop was full. People came to eat. People talked and laughed. Chiamaka served food quietly. She moved fast and carefully. A man entered the shop. He was not loud. He was not proud. He sat down quietly and waited. Chiamaka brought food to his table. "Thank you," the man said kindly. Chiamaka looked up. Their eyes met. The man smiled, not a mocking smile, not a proud smile. A calm smile. Chiamaka felt strange. No man had ever looked at her like that before. The man came again the next day, and the next. Each time he greeted Chiamaka politely. "Good morning. How is work today?" Chiamaka answered shyly. Slowly they began to talk. The man's name was Ifeanyi. He worked as a carpenter. He used his hands to make things. One day he said to her, "You are very kind." Chiamaka was shocked. Nobody had ever said that to her. She did not know what to say. She just nodded. As days passed, Ifeanyi noticed small things. He noticed how she helped old people. He noticed how she shared food with hungry children. He noticed her heart. But Chiamaka was afraid. She remembered the past. She remembered the laughter. She remembered the pain. "This man will soon leave," she told herself. One evening, Ifeanyi walked with her after work. The road was quiet. "I like talking to you," he said. Chiamaka stopped walking. Her heart beat fast. She did not trust happiness. She looked down and said softly, "Please, don't joke with me." Ifeanyi looked surprised. "I am not joking," he said. Chiamaka walked home confused. Her heart was full of fear and hope. That night, she could not sleep. Her mother's voice returned again. "One day, someone will see your heart." Chiamaka held her chest. She was afraid, but for the first time in her life, someone was seeing her. She still went to work. She still served food, but her heart was not calm. Each time she saw Ifeanyi, her heart beat fast. She was happy and afraid at the same time. She told herself, "This will not last. Men do not stay." Ifeanyi continued to come. He did not rush her. He did not touch her. He only talked. He asked about her childhood. He asked about her mother. When Chiamaka spoke about her mother, her eyes filled with tears. Ifeanyi listened quietly. "I am sorry," he said gently. That simple word touched her heart. One day, some women in the shop noticed. They whispered, "Why does that man always talk to her? Does he not see her face? Is he blind?" Chiamaka heard them. Her heart sank. The fear returned. That same day, Auntie Ngozi called her aside. "Chiamaka," she said slowly, "be careful. Men like to play with weak hearts." Chiamaka nodded. That night she cried again. "Mama," she whispered, "I am scared." The next day, Chiamaka avoided Ifeanyi. When he came, she served him fast and walked away. Ifeanyi noticed. He followed her outside after work. "Did I do something wrong?" he asked. Chiamaka could not look at him. "I am not what you think," she said softly. "I am not beautiful. I am not special." Ifeanyi was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I know." Chiamaka's heart broke, but he continued, "I know you are not like others. That is why I like you." Chiamaka looked up, confused. He said, "You are gentle." You are honest. You care. Tears rolled down her face. Still, she shook her head. People will laugh at you, she said. They will shame you. Ifeanyi smiled sadly. They already do, he said. Days passed. People talked more. Some told Ifeanyi, find a better woman. Some told Chiamaka, he will soon leave you. Chiamaka waited for him to go, but he did not. One evening, rain fell heavily. The shop was empty. Ifeanyi stood in front of Chiamaka. I want to marry you, he said quietly. Chiamaka felt dizzy. Her legs shook. She remembered her mother's words. A man who loves your heart will stay. Chiamaka looked at Ifeanyi. For the first time, she did not run. But she said, let us wait. Because she needed to be sure. And this waiting would decide everything. After that day, Chiamaka and Ifeanyi waited. They did not rush. They talked more. They prayed quietly. They watched each other. Ifeanyi showed his love with actions. When Chiamaka was tired, he waited. When she was sad, he listened. When people spoke badly about her, he stood firm. One day, Chiamaka fell sick. She could not go to work. Auntie Ngozi was worried. Ifeanyi came early in the morning. He brought food. He brought medicine. He sat beside Chiamaka and wiped her face. Rest, he said. Chiamaka watched him. No man had ever done this for her. That night, Chiamaka lay awake. She remembered her mother clearly. Her mother's voice was no longer weak. It was strong. True love does not look at the face. It looks at the heart. Suddenly, Chiamaka understood. The secret was not magic. It was not beauty. It was patience. It was kindness. It was staying. Chiamaka cried, not from pain, from understanding. The next day, Chiamaka called Ifeanyi. She looked at him and said, I am ready. Ifeanyi smiled, not proudly, gratefully. They told Auntie Ngozi, they told friends. Some people were surprised, some laughed. But Ifeanyi did not change. He went to Chiamaka's village. He greeted elders. He spoke with respect. People whispered, that is the woman. This thin girl. Ifeanyi stood tall. This is my wife, he said. Chiamaka felt strong. Her heart was no longer afraid. That night, she spoke to her mother in her heart. Mama, she whispered, I understand now. And for the first time, the secret was no longer a mystery. It was alive. The wedding day came slowly. It did not come with hurry. It came with peace. Early that morning, Chiamaka woke up before the sun. She sat on her bed and breathed deeply. Her hands were shaking, not from fear, from wonder. She remembered the days when no one looked at her. She remembered the nights she cried alone. She remembered her mother's grave. She whispered softly, Mama, today has come. Women came to help her. They washed her gently. They dressed her slowly. They did not rush her. When Chiamaka looked into the mirror, she saw the same face, thin, simple, but her eyes were different. They were full of light. Outside, drums played. People gathered. Some people still whispered, how did this happen? Others smiled. When Ifeanyi arrived, he stood tall. He wore simple clothes, but his face was full of joy. When he saw Chiamaka, he smiled deeply. Not because she was beautiful to the world, but because she was beautiful to him. They stood together, hands joined. Words were spoken, promises were made. I will stay, Ifeanyi said. I will love, Chiamaka replied. People clapped. Some cried. After the wedding, Chiamaka returned to her village. This time, she did not walk with her head down. She walked with her husband. They went to her mother's grave. Chiamaka knelt. Tears rolled down her face. Mama, she said softly, your words were true. She held Ifeanyi's hand. This is the man who saw my heart. The wind blew gently. It felt like a hug. Days turned into months. Chiamaka learned new things. She laughed more. She spoke freely. People who once mocked her now greeted her. Some said, you are lucky. Chiamaka smiled. She knew it was not luck. It was truth. One evening, Chiamaka sat outside her home. Children played nearby. She watched them and smiled. If someone asked her story, she would say, do not rush love. Do not beg for love. True love will find you. And inside her heart, her mother's secret lived forever. Not hidden, not forgotten, but fulfilled.